You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal, and joining me are Jeff and Ken. Jeff, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Neal?
I'm doing well. Are you enjoying the heat or not enjoying the heat? The very 90-degree heat that we have going on here now.
I think you know that I am very much not enjoying the heat. I don't do well in it. But fortunately, Hamilton came out this weekend on Disney Plus, so I had a good excuse to stay inside.
Yes, that is a very good excuse. And we wish you luck on your future sweat gland removal surgery.
Wouldn't that make the problem worse?
yeah, you probably. Yeah, you know the science. I would probably just sign the paper to get your sweat glands removed, but luckily you know the science.
Yeah, I don't trust you with my medical records.
Yeah, there you go. I have enough medical ailments, but
don't trust Neal with your glands. Right?
There you go. And there's Ken. Ken, who definitely does not trust me with his glands. How are you?
No, you're staying away from my glands, and also, Jeff, I'm waiting for that invite to jump in the pool. So any day now.
Oh, whenever you want. I actually was out there. I never go in my own pool, but you have it. So once in a while you use it, but I was out there for like 2 hours the other day and it was excellent.
So you're the person on Nextdoor that people keep complaining about going in their own pools?
I wouldn't even know if anybody was in my pool because I never go in it.
Now he's bragging after he doesn't invite me.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice.
It's a battle.
You can call me anytime.
It's
sounds good, Jeff.
A battle of the glands going on here. And Matt, you don't hear his voice. He unfortunately is not here today. He's a big fan of Joey Chestnut, and he made the trek over to Coney Island to try and see Joey Chestnut, but unfortunately he was detained at the entrance because he had a pack of 12 raw hot dogs he wanted Joey to sign, and they did not let him in. So he'll be making his trip back soon here, but we wish him the best of luck and legal advice that we can. But we do have two very special guests here today. We'll start with our guest contestant. She's coming to us from Pasadena, California. That's Stacey Melquist. How's it going?
Very well, thank you. I'm up bright and early this morning.
Yes, you are. Thank you for doing that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm originally from the Midwest, and I'm a knitter, golfer, and enjoying California. Just been out here about 2 years, and it's a lovely state. Everything except how much it costs to live here.
Well, I didn't even realize I wore my California shirt today in honor of you. So
I saw that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for being a Patreon supporter as well. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
And you will be partnering with Jeff today, so I'll let you guys think about a team name. But we do want to introduce our special guest host today, another Cruiserweight champion coming to us from Hartford, Connecticut, and that's Brian Harris. How's it going, Brian?
I'm good. Doing good out here.
And you told me before when we were checking some levels that you've been getting into a little bit of voiceover work.
Yeah, just around the time this quarantine started, I had just started learning how to do voiceover work. So it's something that it's definitely kept me busy and something that I've at least had to focus on every week, other than just cleaning up after myself.
And why don't you tell us a little bit else about yourself?
I'm a dad. I'm a trivia host here in Hartford at a local brewery. I'm also a bartender and a restaurant manager at the same brewery. And I've always just liked trivia, and it's kind of by happenstance I became a host. It's just a necessity for it. So I just put both feet in and just jumped in the pool.
That's awesome.
About 3 years now.
And so as the trivia host and the bartender and the bar manager, if someone wants a drink, you can deny them if they're being mean at trivia, then it's what it sounds like.
Or I could just make him answer like a hard question and you get nothing.
There you go. Well, thank you for joining us and for being a Patreon supporter. We're excited for your game today.
Oh, you're welcome.
So while we figure out team names, let's throw it over to the rules guys.
Hey, Neal, before you throw it over, it's been a long time since we heard from an old friend, so how about we throw it over to alternate rules guy?
Oh, yes, you're right.
All right, let's do that.
Triviality podcast is 2 rounds of 20 questions worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there's a special swing round by this week's host. In the final round, players wager points they've earned for a chance to become the cream of the crop.
I am the cream.
I do miss Gilbert.
I wonder how he's doing in quarantine. I know he's doing a lot of voiceover work, and I'm sure he talks to himself in his different voices. I don't know. What do you think, Ken?
Yeah, that probably sounds about right. I hear he's making a killing on Cameo. So,
so Stacey, Jeff, any ideas on a team name?
All right, Stacey, I don't know how you feel about a team name, but you're from California, and I woke up like 3 hours ago, but I'm still kind of in a haze. So how do you feel about California Dreamin'?
Why not? Sounds good to me.
Ken, I was just thinking, since Matt is stalking Joey Chestnut, maybe like Matt Diggity Dog.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome, cool. So Matt Diggity Dog versus California Dreamin'. Brian.
Ironically, that was his nickname before the hot dog incident.
But Brian, yeah, take the keys. It's all yours.
All right. So, like I told you guys a little earlier, this is a little pop culture heavy, so bear with it. Round 1, question 1. Go testify on the corner. Who was the first and only rapper to win a Grammy, an Oscar, and an Emmy?
All right, we're going to lock in.
I'm going through my list of rappers. It's probably the one area of music that I'm not as familiar with.
I can't think of Eminem having won a Tony, though, but I think he won an Oscar for 8 Mile.
I don't think there was any mention of a Tony in the question. Just for fairness.
No, it's Grammy, Oscar, and Emmy.
Yeah, okay. I suppose he could have won an Emmy for some sort of guest spot, or I don't know.
I've got nothing better, so if you feel comfortable with that, I'm good to lock that in.
Let's lock that in.
So I'm going to throw it to Ken for the final answer, but I was listening to Brian's question and he said rapper, so I knew it wasn't 3 6 Mafia who won for Hustle and Flow, and I don't think it was Eminem, but I believe it's someone who wrote a track for a really great documentary you should see called 13th by Ava DuVernay. And I'm going to throw it to Ken because I think Ken has seen him fight John Wick before.
Yes, I did see him fight John Wick, specifically in John Wick 2, I believe, and that is Common.
And your answer is there are all 3 songs are Go Testify in the Corner from Common.
Yep, Chicago guy. So I figured, I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but
it was done a little on purpose because he's from Chicago. All right. Question 2. Whose house? On the show Golden Girls, the majority of the show's scenes take place in their beautiful Miami home. Which one of our Golden Girls actually owned the house?
Neal, on this one, I can't distinguish between the 4 girls. I know their names, so just pick one at random, unless you have an inkling, and we'll lock in with that.
Well, I know it's played by Rue McClanahan. I know, I think it's Blanche. Is that one of the Golden Girls? Okay.
Yeah, no, that was her character, Blanche. Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if this is her name on the Golden Girls now that I think about it. B. Arthur played Maude, so I just put Maude, which I don't think is correct.
All right, and B. Arthur played Dorothy, but the house belonged to Blanche from her deceased husband.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Thanks, Stacey. Good pull.
Blanche, not just a way to prepare vegetables.
Or Rue, preparing food.
Yeah.
Question
not just
number...
sauce.
Yeah, right. Not a road in France.
Sorry, I haven't had breakfast yet.
Question number 3. This is my Triviality shout out right here. Question number 3. I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime. That's a bone song.
That's really good.
In 2003, Macho Man Randy Savage made a 3-minute rap song dissing Hulk Hogan. What is the name of the song which shares its name with his album?
Ken, I definitely know this one because I forced myself to listen to all of it from beginning to end. So
all right, go for it.
Yeah, I had a feeling they would be. How's your Macho Man Hulk Hogan shade knowledge, Stacey?
It's very poor. I was gonna say I did slightly watch them when I was growing up in the 80s, but man, 2003 Macho Man, I don't know a single thing about.
I don't know it.
Say better you than me. I don't know it either. I'm fine with tapping on this one.
Sounds good.
Well, this is definitely a phrase that Ken has told me he tells Jeff all the time. But I will say it is kind of ironic because of our team name is Matt Diggity Dog. I know it opens with hot diggity damn Hulk. I'm glad you set it off, but I believe it's Be a Man.
And it is Be a Man. It is an epic rap track. If you ever want to listen to it, it's up there with Hamilton.
Well, you can't beat
Ken's definitely not getting in my pool now.
Yeah, I want Ken to roll up with what Macho Man is wearing on the album cover. I think it's like black tank top with like chains or something. It's really pretty funny.
I mean, that wouldn't be that different, right?
I guess from your normal attire, yeah.
Right.
Question 4. You've come a long way, Opie. What popular video game franchise shares its name with the first full-length film directed by Ron Howard?
All right, so after a little bit of back and forth, me and Neal are able to lock in here.
It's Stacey, the oldest Ron Howard movie I can think of, and I don't know what would have come before it, if anything, is Splash.
I was going to say that's earlier than what I was thinking. I was thinking Willow. I think he directed that, but that's much later than Splash.
Yeah, that's as far back as I can go as far as Ron Howard movies. Everything else I can think of is much newer. But I was listening to a show the other day. They were talking about something with Splash, so that one just happened to be top of mind. So we're going to lock in Splash.
Yeah, it was the thing you were hearing about Splash, about the extended hair to cover up the butt. That looked really weird on Disney Plus.
Yeah, but, probably.
Yeah. We were kind of going through Ron Howard movies. Neal said, I think his first movie was called Grand Theft Auto. Could that be it? And I said, that is a video game series, obviously. So we're going Grand Theft Auto.
All right. And from 1977, Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, nice.
It was very much like a Cannonball Run type movie.
Okay.
Where he was with some rich guy's daughter, and they like drove around the country, something like that.
There were so many movies like that during that. There was Cannonball Run, It's a Mad World, and Rat Race. All those movies.
All right. Question 5: The Tale of Two Tanners. There are 2 sitcoms, one from the 80s and one from the 90s. Both of these sitcoms are centered around a family with the last name Tanner. For 10 points, you must name both.
Stacey, I know this one.
Oh, good.
I just remembered the other one. Yeah, so we can lock in.
Sounds good to
All right,
me.
they're locked in.
So the first one you were saying, the easy one, is Full House, right?
Yeah.
Could it be Step by Step? I don't know what their names were. I mean, that was a TGIF show.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it could be Step by Step. It's something like that.
Okay.
It doesn't jump out to me as much.
That one always seems to me like that's like the obscure one that people always forget with Patrick Duffy. So maybe that's possible. Do you want to go those two?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So I don't say this very often, but thank you, Matt, because I'm pretty sure that these are Matt's 2 favorite shows. One is Full House, and the other one that I only know because of him is Elf. So we're going to lock in with Full House and Elf.
And you're correct. Full House and Elf. Full House from the 90s, Elf from the 80s.
Hey, nice job, Matt, showing up here, even though he's not here physically. After 5...
Spirit of Matt.
The Spirit of Matt in Jail. Let's see.
This is what I'm going to name my biplane.
The Spirit of Matt in Jail as it crosses the Atlantic. So, yeah, Team California Dreamin' with 20 points and Team Matt Diggity Dog with 30. So very close.
All right, question 6 in the first round. Marty, we got to go back. Back in 1985, Christopher Lloyd played the iconic Doc Brown in Back to the Future. He also played a professor in the same year in what movie? Which, by the way, is one of my favorite movies of all time. But that doesn't help you.
Okay, you want to lock in with that?
For it to be somebody's favorite movie, too, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. We're locked in.
If they say something that's not his favorite movie, this could be real bad. So I think he plays Professor Plum in Clue.
Oh, yeah, that would be right around the right time. Yeah, 85 or 86, definitely.
Sweet. We'll lock you with Clue.
That is definitely Professor.
Yeah, he's right. But we went with Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Ooh, that is a good one, and it is a good movie. But Christopher Lloyd made 2 movies in 1985. They were Back to the Future, and he played Professor Plum in Clue.
Oh, it's such a good
Way
movie.
to go, Jeff.
I can thank Neil for that because he always kept telling me that Clue is so good, and I was like, I have to finally watch this movie.
Oh, so good.
It's great, yeah.
Question number 7. They see me rolling. In 1902, Teddy Roosevelt was the first president to publicly ride in an automobile down the streets of what New England capital city?
If only he was playing that track, that'd be great.
All right, Neil and I have settled on an answer, so we're locked in.
Well, I was just starting to kind of name some capital cities in New England, and the 2 that I came up with so far, Boston and Augusta. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's Boston. I mean, that seems like it's one of the larger cities in New England.
So, Stacey, I'm inclined to agree with you. I feel like Boston feels right. I can't imagine many other really populous cities in New England at the time. I know he's from New York, but neither New York City, well, that wouldn't be the capital anyways, but that doesn't feel right as an answer to me. So I like Boston.
Yeah, I think I'm happy going with Boston. Okay.
Boston it is.
Ken and I threw out some East Coast cities. We were debating whether he was a New Yorker or not, or if it mattered, as Ken said, which I agreed with. And we both kind of settled on Boston. That's what we think of when we hear New England.
All right. Unfortunately, I didn't give you any good clues for this, except that it is a city where I currently reside in and live born and raised in Hartford, Connecticut.
Wow.
There's a plaque on Trumbull Street that it gives you a whole description of like the type of car it was.
What kind of car was it? Do you know?
I don't remember, but I'm assuming it was just a Model T.
Yeah.
Question number 8. Black Knights Matter. Sir William Conrad Reeves, a lawyer from the Barbados, would go on to become the Attorney General and eventually the Chief Justice of the Barbados. Although done posthumously, he would also go on to be the first black man to be knighted by what ruler in 1889?
Normally at trivia, there's questions that we often get wrong, and a lot of them have to do with monarchs or things like that. But Ken usually has a handle on presidents, and we've been trying to learn about monarchs, which I think this is in that realm.
I'm feeling pretty good about this one, Stacey.
Oh, good.
So was Queen Victoria the second? She was like later on, right? Like around that time?
I think so.
I think she was empowered during World War One.
So that would make sense.
Yeah, that should be good, I think.
Yeah, and that makes sense with the story too, because if he's knighted to be the queen of...
And we're just
England.
assuming it's English, but
yeah,
let's go with that.
Okay.
Queen Victoria II.
Okay, so I feel pretty good about this, Stacey. I feel like Barbados is an English Commonwealth, or was, and I know Victoria reigned from like the early probably the 1830s, 1840s, all the way until her death. And I know she was in the 20th century, I think so, like 1900, 1901. So it's got to be her reign. So I feel pretty good about Queen Victoria.
All right, I have a decision to make here because I have Queen Victoria, but it's Queen Victoria the First.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't believe there was a Victoria the Second.
I didn't know if there was a second or not, and I'm pretty sure there was.
No, there's only one.
Yeah.
You got overzealous.
Yeah, you might have been thinking about Elizabeth, because Elizabeth I was 1500s.
Elizabeth is the second.
And Elizabeth II is the second currently, yeah.
Well, I was thinking about Victoria, but it's up to the host.
Yeah, up to you, Brian.
I'll give it to you. Queen Victoria is all around. Points all around.
All right.
Thank you.
See, Stacey, see how bad we are with monarchs? We're giving people seconds when they don't have it.
Question number 9. Back to your pop culture. And I'll form the head. The cartoon and toy Voltron, Defender of the Universe, from the 80s, now rebooted into a Netflix series. Voltron's body is made up of 5 robotic lions. What 2 color lions make up the arms?
Okay, we are going to lock in here pretty much a guess, but educated guess maybe.
Alrighty. Well, Jeff, I'm trying to remember back. My brother actually had the toy
Oh, nice.
way back in the day, and I'm trying to remember for the life of me which ones made the arms.
Okay.
Well, let's just go with red and blue, and I hope I'm hoping that somehow my first two instincts are correct here.
Okay. I'll trust you on it. Red and blue sounds
Okay.
good.
All right, so we're kind of guessing that red and blue comprise the chest and head. So for the arms, that leaves green and yellow as our guess.
All right. You guys, the right answer was said. His arms were red and green. The pilots were Lance and Pidge. Then there was Hunk and I think the Princess. And Keith formed the body. He was the Black Lion. And your final question in a round? I did it all by myself. In 1899, the outlaw Thomas Blackjack Ketchum, only man tried, convicted, and hanged for felonious assault as he alone attempted to rob what?
Felonious Assault is a pretty cool band name. I love these turn of the century questions too, by the way.
I was seeing it as like a late jazz fusion act.
Yeah.
Felonious assault. Felonious assault.
Okay, we are going to lock in over here.
Yeah, I've got no idea on this, unfortunately. Sorry.
That's quite all right. I mean, for humor alone, I feel like we should just lock in with a Liberty Bell because I have no idea. I think that it's better than anything else I can kind of come up with at this point.
Okay, we can go with the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, so we had a discussion. Ken was thinking possibly casino, which would be probably obviously a big mistake because of their security. And then I just threw out sort of what always is in Western lore, which is either a train or a stagecoach, because they always show it in movies, but maybe it didn't really happen that often. So we went with stagecoach.
All right, and 1899, Blackjack Ketchum went to try alone to rob a train. The story is that him and his brother had robbed the train previously, like maybe a year before. His brother got arrested for something else, so he was going to go out and rob this train by himself because he thought he could do it. Got shot up his horse, and then he got hanged for it.
Wow.
That'll redact the points we got for Victoria. So
yeah,
it's all even.
There you go. And speaking of even, the scores are 40-40 going into the swing round. So Brian, what do you got in store for us today?
All right, your swing round is called Athletic Actors. I am going to name a movie that features a professional athlete. This athlete has also been inducted into a Hall of Fame of one of the big four sports. You have to name the Hall of Famer in the movie. So I'll give you the year in the movie. You just have to name the Hall of Famer. All right. From 1998, There's Something About Mary. From 2002, Analyze That. From 1997, Double Team. From 84, Conan the Destroyer. From 94, Dumb and Dumber. From 1980, another one of my favorites, Airplane. From 87, The Running Man. From 84, Chattanooga Choo Choo. From 81, Cannonball Run. And from 1988, there are 2 Hall of Famers in The Naked Gun. Bonus 2 points for the second one.
All right, we are going to take a look at these questions and be right back with our answers. All of the answers are locked in, so before we throw it right back to Brian to get those questions once more, feel free to join Brian and Stacey over at The Crop, where you can interact with other listeners, see when episodes are posted, hear about new Patreon subscribers if you're a Patreon supporter and you want to see us give you a shout out, or just hang out. So we'd love to see you over there. So make sure to join our Facebook group, The Crop, or Instagram and Twitter at Triviality Pod. So Brian, let's get those questions again. We'll give our answers.
All right, so the Athletic Actors. I'm going to name a movie. You tell me the actor that's in it. 1998, There's Something About Mary.
Okay, I want to get us started off here at Matt Diggity Dog. I remember Brett Favre being kind of the Keanu Reeves of There's Something About Mary. Isn't that right, Neil?
I think you're right there. Yep.
And we also had Brett Favre.
Yeah, inducted in 2016. I had Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
In New England, we say Brett Favre. Brett Favre. Number 2, 2002, Analyze That.
This one I had no idea whatsoever. I know Analyze This. I'm not as familiar. I think I only saw Analyze That once, like in the theaters. But I'm going to take a complete guess here. Robert De Niro is a huge New Yorker, fan of New York things. And I guess at that time, probably the biggest New Yorker is probably Derek Jeter. So that's what we went with.
And we went with Wayne Gretzky.
Isn't Robert De Niro is a pretty big fan, isn't he, Neil?
Well, he is the fan.
Yeah, I was going to Brian. Exactly.
Bobby!
I'm going to kidnap your kid, Bobby.
Into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in 2014, Joe Torre.
Oh,
it
was a Yankee, I guess. We were kind of close.
That's a Yankee.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, number 3, 1997, Double Team.
Yeah, I think both me and Neil right away knew this one was one of Dennis Rodman's 2 outings. One of them is in Simon Says, I believe, right?
Yep.
And then the other one was Double Team, so Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, we didn't have much of an idea, and we were just kind of tossing back and forth different players. So we put down Deion Sanders here.
And playing the character of Yaz, 2011 inductee to the Basketball Hall of Fame, Dennis Rodman, the Worm.
Yes.
1984, Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah, I believe this one, they needed someone much bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I think there's a famous picture, actually. Maybe Jeff was the one who talks to me about it all the time, but Arnold is, when he's super jacked as Conan, is being held up by someone else I can't remember. And then this person looking very puny compared to them. And I believe it's Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, again, we didn't quite know, but we figured it might be a football player given the size of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So we put down Mean Joe Green.
All right, playing Bombada, it was Wilt Chamberlain. All right, from 1994, Dumb and Dumber.
All right, so Neil told me this was a hockey player, and I said, "Who did they play?" And he said the bully in the diner. I said, well, if it's that era and you're looking for a hockey player to start a fight with, it might be Bob Probert, but it's purely a guess.
And we originally did have a hockey player down, but at the last minute, I thought that somehow Dumb and Dumber also had Troy Aikman in it, so we went with Troy Aikman.
All right, inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2005. It was played the character Seabass, Cam Neely, from 1980, Airplane.
Yeah, this one is someone near and dear to our heart with our Game of Death episodes. He has the great retort where he tells the little kid his dad's full of it, saying that he doesn't play for 60 minutes straight. We went with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And we also went with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Roger Murdoch. He was inducted in 1995, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. From 1987, The Running Man.
Neil said, I don't know. I said, wasn't it one of those gladiator guys? And he said, oh, yeah, Jim Brown. So Jim Brown is our answer.
That sounds like a great answer. We really had no clue. I don't think either of us have seen the movie. So we went, thinking about the 85 Bears, we went with Walter Payton.
All right, he was inducted into the Football Hall of Fame in 1971. He played Fireball. It was Jim Brown.
Yeah, luckily Ken jogged my memory there because I forgot about him. He's like the guy who had won so many tournaments and is like living a home life now, but he comes back special to beat Arnold. And I believe he has the best hair in the entire movie. He's got the 2 silver streaks, if I remember.
The silver streaks?
Yeah.
I like the Richard Dawson line. Arnold does a, I'll be back, only in a rerun. All right, number 8 from 84, Chattanooga Choo Choo.
I didn't even know this was a movie, to be honest. Jeff and I were laughing about it because I know it's a Glenn Miller song. So I have no idea. We didn't put anything, so Chattanooga, I think that's in Tennessee. So I don't even think he was born yet, but I'm just going to say Peyton Manning.
And we just kind of threw a dart at the wall on this one because, again, we were also not aware that this was a movie. And we came up with Yogi Berra.
All right. Inducted into the Football Hall of Fame as a quarterback in 1985, it was Joe Namath. He did a lot of movies in the early 80s, even when he was still playing. He did a couple of movies. And it was just because he was like a pretty face,
Broadway Joe, right?
That's why he's Broadway Joe.
Yeah, I still remember seeing pictures of him with that fur coat.
The coat. From 1981, Cannonball Run.
Well, for all the reasons you just discussed, we guess this was Joe Namath, unfortunately.
You're not too far off, although he's a little bit I think a little bit older, and he's definitely still all over the airwaves because I'm pretty sure this is Terry Bradshaw.
He is a little bit older and a little bit balder. Inducted in 89 is Terry Bradshaw. And your last one from 1988, The Naked Gun. And there are two. There's one main one, and then there's one more for 2 points. So any two.
The first one is the famous one. You got O.J. playing Leslie Nielsen's partner. The second one, all I'm going to say is I know it's a baseball player. It's at the end. He points the gun at the queen. And he's like, I have to kill the queen or something like that. I could not picture his face. I just know it's a baseball player, but we couldn't get it. So yeah, we locked in with OJ.
And we also didn't try for the bonus and just locked in with OJ.
All right. OJ is correct. He played Norberg. And the baseball player who his only lines in the movie, I'm pretty sure, were I must kill the queen. 1993 MLB Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson.
Oh, yeah. That's right. He had the big
Mr.
glass.
October.
After the swing round, it looks like Team California Dreamin' picked up 20 points and Team Matt Diggity Dog picked up 30, bringing our scores to 60 for California Dreamin' and 70 for Matt Diggity Dog. So still very close.
All right. On to round 2. Question 1. Drinks on me. What is the name for a wine steward who is well-trained and knowledgeable wine professional that specializes in all aspects of wine service and food pairing? Oh, for a bonus 2 points, what is the name for a beer steward who does everything under the same label and also is an expert in beer service and food pairing?
Yep, we are locked in. I don't think we have the bonus, but we're going to lock in with the first answer.
Stacey, does this sound like a sommelier to you?
Yep, that's exactly what I wrote down. I thought we could lock in until that second bonus came in. I have no idea on the bonus. I'm going to say brewmaster.
There we go. A brewmaster. So a sommelier and a brewmaster.
And we also said sommelier and brewmaster.
And your answers are sommelier. And the bonus is a cicerone, which literally just translates to everything a sommelier is, just with beer. Number 2, Yukon Gold. In what year did the University of Connecticut make history when both men and women Huskies won their NCAA basketball championships? Being from Connecticut, everybody here knows the year.
Neil, just lock in with whatever you want here, because this is not my category.
So, Jeff, do you have a particular year you're thinking of?
No, unfortunately, sports are my real weak point. I know that the Yukon Huskies women's team is so dominant that we could pick any year and they're probably going to have won it, but I don't know about the men's team.
I'm thinking, for whatever reason, 2015 kind of called my name.
Okay. I'm happy to go with that because I'm always deferring to someone else on these kinds of questions anyways.
Okay, let's go with 2015 then, locking in.
I had the same train of thought as Stacey. I knew it was recent just because I remember it being a big deal on social media. And so I was kind of thinking it had to have been in the last 10 years. And for no other reason than, actually for no other reason, really. I just went 2013 just for the hell of it.
All right, you guys be surprised how long ago it was. It was 2004.
Oh.
Whoa.
And Emeka Okafor and like Diana Taurasi, all of them are still playing. It was quite a while ago. I didn't realize it's been 16 years.
Oh, that was Diana Taurasi's team?
Fun fact. If you add up the second and third most women's NBA championships, like Tennessee and Butler, it's the same amount that UConn has total, like for women. They are so dominant, it's insane. All right, number 3, fantasy football. What video game was the first to have a contract with both the NFL and the Players Association and was given permission to use the players' names?
It's funny when you think about it, going back to those old games, they don't have names a lot of the times, or they're just fake names. And then there's all those famous basketball games where it's clearly Jordan, but it's not Jordan. Ken and I discussed some newer games, some older games, and we kind of felt it was an older game, so we locked in with an answer.
I'm trying to think of old football games I know, like Tecmo Bowl, Super Tecmo Bowl. I don't know if those had names in them.
I think they did, because it's like really poor graphics, right? And because I remember I have Tecmo Bowl down as well.
Okay.
I think early.
So yeah, if you want to go Tecmo Bowl, I'm good with that.
Let's do that.
Sweet. Tecmo Bowl it is.
So at first I messaged Ken NFL 2K because I remember, I don't know if that was the one on Dreamcast that had the little window with the plays, and I remember players being named that, but then he said, I think it was a side scroller, and I should have remembered Tecmo Super Bowl because Colleen's brother every holiday runs a family tournament that I'm subjected to. The first year I really practiced hard when I was trying to impress her family, and then ever since I've just not really cared. So yeah, we locked in with Tecmo Super Bowl.
All right. And the first game was Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Super Bowl was the second one to come out, but Tecmo Bowl was the first to have the actual players' names.
Ooh.
I actually, I said in my trivia before, and everybody puts Madden, and it reminded me, I listened to your retro video game episode, and you guys were just talking about Tecmo Bowl, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, that was Colleen's brother, the retro sports gamer. He's the one who's obsessed with. He has a channel on YouTube, and all he does is play, well, most of the time, Tecmo Super Bowl.
All right. Question 4 for my Game of Thrones fans. From the window to the wall, the story of Bran the Broken. Within 2, how many total castles occupy the wall in Game of Thrones? This number is also the amount of languages Missandei speaks.
Man, that's just a guess for me, but I'm in, I guess.
So I know in the show and in the book, there's like 3 main castles: Castle Black, Eastwatch by the Sea, and the Shadow Tower. I know there's more than that, though. I don't know. It's really tough because I could be anywhere between like 15 and 50. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to remember.
I'm willing to go with you. I would say it's probably a pretty low number given that we're given within 2.
Okay. Do you want to go 20?
That sounds like a good number to me.
Okay, let's go 20 because I think 50 is just way too high. So I'll err on the side of caution.
All right, and we'll do lucky number 13.
All right, so within 2, there are 19 castles on the wall, and Missandei speaks 19 languages.
Way to go, Jeff, on that.
California
one.
Dreaming gets points. Just Desserts. Created at Antony's Restaurant in New Orleans, what dessert made with a spongy cake, flavored ice cream, and covered in meringue was named for an 1867 land acquisition by the U.S.?
Here comes Neal.
I was going to say he's the...
You know it, right?
He's the
I know
foodie.
it, yeah.
Okay, I think it's probably Baked Alaska, Jeff.
Oh, yep. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also said Baked Alaska.
And you are correct. Acquired by the U.S. in 1867 was Alaska's Baked Alaskan.
Every time I hear New Orleans now, I really have a craving for coffee and a beignet, and it just pains me that I can't have some.
You want to do a score check?
After 5 in the second round, Team California Dreamin' has 80, and Team Matt Diggity Dog with 90.
Question number 6. For the last time, it's not Bob Marley. What founder of Rastafarian religion was the last emperor of Ethiopia, with his reign ending in 1975?
Oh, man, we had this one a while back. We had to take some like bad guesses on it, and I still can't remember. All right, we're just gonna lock in with the first name, I guess then.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this one, Stacey. It's really bugging me because I've definitely heard this name before.
And I've not heard it at all. So
on this show. And usually I'm pretty good at callbacks because I do listen to the show a few times back before we publish, but I don't. Yeah. Well, if it's not Bob Marley, maybe it's Rob Marley. So we'll go Rob Marley.
As Ken said, we had a question either similar to this or in the same realm, and I know we got it wrong last time, but Ken and I were talking back and forth, and I believe I had the first name. I just could not come up with the last name. But Ken, what did we go with?
First name Leonard, and then let's give him a last name and say Redmond.
Sounds good.
All right, and the founder of Rastafari religion, last emperor of Ethiopia, is Haile Selassie.
Oh, I was way off then.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
Who was I thinking of?
All right, number 7, exotic eats. Banned for import to the U.S. What fruit from the Sapindaceae soapberry family is found in West African and Jamaican breakfasts, usually accompanied with cod or saltfish?
All right, Neal, I have a guess here, just based on one thing in the question. So
I'm good with that.
I have no idea otherwise.
The only thing I was thinking of is something that's like very stinky. So I was thinking, is it called durian, which is like this huge?
Yeah, the
fruit?
Durian fruit. Yeah, that's like a really smelly one, I think.
That's the best I can think of right now. So
okay, that's better than I'm gonna get. We'll go durian.
Okay, so last week I happened to buy something called golden berries from Trader Joe's, and I guess they're also called Cape gooseberries. But it was the first time I tried them, and I found that they did have quite like a slippery sort of film on the outside. So when he said soapberry, that really kind of triggered something. So I'm going to say gooseberry as the answer.
Well, this fruit is found in Jamaica and from West Africa, and it goes with saltfish. It's called ackee, saltfish and ackee. There's in Hartford, there's a very large Jamaican population. It's about 25% Jamaican. So like stuff like this is just very common. People will smuggle it over here. And it's a fruit. It's very kind of like a mango. But it's very buttery. It's not very strong taste, but it is good. But it's the only reason why it's banned from import is because if you have it before it's matured, it's toxic. So like, if it hasn't matured yet, it can like lead to having like some complications.
Except I'm very impatient, so I'd probably end up poisoning myself.
I want to eat it now. Question number 8, Party in the Back. Making references to Van Damme, Billy Ray Cyrus, and Joey Buttafuoco in their 1994 song Mullet Head, what group that transitioned from punk to rock to hip-hop is credited with coining the word mullet?
I know this one, Ken, I believe. Let me tell me if you think this is right. Oh, yeah. Or no, shoot. Now autocorrect's got me all screwed up. Yes. we are locked in over here.
Who is that band, Neal?
That's the cheap knockoff. Yeah.
the guy from Detroit that's very pro-flag. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Kid Rock.
Kid Rock is all I can think of. That's probably a little too early for him, but
as soon as you said Kid Rock, I thought of Ad Rock, who's in the Beastie Boys, and that might fit. Do you want to go the Beastie Boys?
Sure, why not? Let's do that.
Let's do that. We'll go Beastie Boys.
And Matt Diggity Dog.
Yep, Neal and I both texted each other Beastie Boys at the same time, except when Neal texted it said Beastie Bots. So we're saying the Beastie Bots.
That's a great cover name. They had from the 1994 song, The Beastie Boys. I had the privilege of seeing them in concert. I may or may not have skipped school one day, but it was an awesome concert. It was way before Ad Rock died. Then they started doing the whole Tibet thing after that.
That must have been great.
Question number 9. I do this in all my trivias. I do a whole round of them. It's called AAA, which stands for All Acceptable Answers Are Always Alliterations. So your answer is going to be an alliteration. I'm not only a client, I'm also the president was a catchphrase of the owner and founder of Hair Club for Men, a series of infomercials that ran throughout the 80s advertising hair restoration. What was the name of the hair owner's alliterative name? Hair Club owner's alliterative name.
I have no idea, Neil.
I don't either. I have a joke answer, but I know the commercials really well. We used to watch them all the time, but...
Have any idea, Jeff?
No, sorry, Stacey. This is not. This is not one I know. I can maybe kind of remember the commercials, but this isn't one I'm going to think is gettable for me. What about you?
I wish I paid more attention to these commercials. I think I kind of skipped over them whenever they were on.
You didn't have any concerns with yourself or anyone in your family having male pattern baldness?
Not at all.
How about something funny like, so my dad is bald, but he's got like a little bit around the sides, the George Costanza kind of thing. Kind of looks like a horseshoe. Want to go like Horseshoe Harry or something stupid like that?
Sounds good to me. Might as well put a joke answer in there. Yep.
There's an alliteration.
It is an alliteration. At least we got one half they ask.
Yeah, Ken and I did not know it. We knew the commercials, but we just decided Arn Anderson has an alliterative name, and he's a wrestler. But I doubt he was part of Hair Club for Men, so that's what we locked in with.
He should have been, though. And your answer is Cy Sperling.
Cy Sperling.
He's not only a client, he's also the president.
Yeah, that name definitely rings a bell.
Your final question. Women in wine get better with age. Who is the oldest female singer to have a song hit #1 on the Billboard? Believe it or not, she was 52 years young and it held on to the #1 spot for 4 weeks.
We're going to lock in over here.
I was going to say, Stacey, I've got an idea based on the clue.
What are you thinking?
Believe by Cher is what I'm thinking.
That sounds very very good. I was starting to go by Believe It or Not. And I'm like, I'm starting to sing like theme songs to television shows.
No, because Believe was like 98, I think.
Yeah.
Because Neal was talking about it on an episode not too long ago. So.
Yep, and that great auto tune, or I don't know if it was auto tune or what was doing the vibrations, but I think it's auto tune.
Okay, well let's lock and share.
Jeff, if I could turn back time, I would have had coffee before recording the podcast, but we're going with Cher as well.
And Believe is the name of the 1999 song by Cher.
Well, going into the final round, scores are Team California Dreamin' with 100 and Team Matt Diggity Dog with 110. So what are those categories, Brian?
Your categories are the Starman, the Demon, the Cat, the Spaceman, and Kiss.
All the wagers are locked in. Brian, feel free to give us those questions.
The Starman. STARS is a fictional group of law enforcement and the main protagonist in the Resident Evil universe. What does the acronym STARS stand for? The Demon. In what Philip Pullman book and TV series do humans have demons? Entities that take the form of an animal and are physical representations of the person's soul. If the human dies, the demon dies. And demon is spelled Daemon. The Cat. What is the only species of big cat in the animal kingdom that cannot retract its claws? The Spaceman. On May 30th, 2020, SpaceX had its first test of a two-man crew aboard the Falcon 9 rocket. Elon Musk named the second robotic ship OCISLY that serves as a landing platform for the SpaceX rockets. What does OCISLY stand for? He named in honor of sci-fi writer Ian M. Banks. Again, that's OCISLY. And the Kiss. During the 88 and 89 NBA Finals, before the start of each game, the captains from both teams would greet each other at half court and kiss on the cheek. Who were these two captains?
All right, we're going to take a little bit of time, go over these questions, and we'll be right back with our answers. All of the answers are locked in, and right before we throw it back to Brian for those questions one more time, just wanted to give a huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters, including Brian and Stacey, for helping our show continue to grow and be produced and do all the great things that we're doing with bonus episodes and extra content. So we appreciate their support here and everyone else who's listening who is a Patreon supporter. If you'd like to join them, you could go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast and get access to extra bonus audio content, as well as great things like stickers, character boxes put together by our hosts, posters, and much, much more. So if you'd like to join them, once again, that's patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. All right, Brian, let's see how we did.
All right. The Starman. STARS is a fictional group of law enforcement and the main protagonist in the Resident Evil universe. What does the acronym STARS stand for?
Yeah, for us at Mad Diggity Dog, this is a pure guess. We just said strategic tactical alien response system, which spells out STARS. But I don't know where alien came from because Resident Evil's usually zombies. So that's what we had.
All right. And we wagered 10 points on this one. Stacey and I didn't have a good answer, but we figured STARS had to stand for whenever your cable company screws you over and they want to make amends, so they throw that in as part of your new package.
And we wagered 20.
All right. And your answer is Special Tactic and Rescue Squad, or Service, either or. All right. The Demon. What Philip Pullman book and TV series do humans have demons, entities that take the form of an animal and are physical representations of the person's soul? If the human dies, the demon dies.
Yes, me and Jeff, we're just talking about this the other day in explicit detail, including the spelling. So I'm guessing we're both going to get this, but we wagered 20, and I said His Dark Materials.
All right, I'll take this one again for us, Stacey. Yep, Ken, we were definitely talking about this the other day. The spelling of Damon, because we kept joking about how to pronounce it phonetically in the show, is part of the Golden Compass series, we think, or His Dark Materials series is the HBO one. I know Golden Compass was, I think, the first book, so yeah, His Dark Materials.
And your wagers?
We said 10 on that one.
Yeah, I'll accept either His Dark Materials or Golden Compass. All right, number 3, the cat. What is the only species of big cat in the animal kingdom that cannot retract its claws?
Yeah, this is pretty much a straight up guess for us. Another 20 on the line, but we said the cheetah.
Do you want to take this one for us, Stacey?
Sure. We were going through big cat names, and we kind of stopped on the cheetah as well for 10 points.
And you are both correct. It's the cheetah. It's because it gets up to such speeds, it always needs to have traction. So the claws just never retract.
I knew it wasn't the jaguar, so that's why we did not go jaguar.
Yeah, you'll hear it when you listen to the recording. I went, well, if it was the jaguar, I'd know because it's Neal's favorite animal.
The Spaceman. SpaceX had its first two-man crew aboard Falcon 9. What does OCISLY stand for that serves as the landing platform for the SpaceX rockets?
Once again, we went 20. And we just thought, Elon Musk seems like a huge fan of the film Oscar, which bombed. So we said he went with the Oceanic Sly Stallone.
And Jeff, I'll let you take this one.
I believe this is Of Course I Still Love You.
Yep, and this first landing platform's name was Just Read the Instructions. The second one is Of Course I Still Love You.
So it all comes down to the final question.
And Kiss. During the 88-89 NBA Finals, before the start of each game, captains from both teams would greet each other at half court and kiss on the cheek. Who were these two captains?
Once again, we wagered 20. Ken kind of put it on my shoulders. I always mix up the late 80s basketball. Usually the 80s to me is either Lakers and Celtics. I do know the end of the decade. The Pistons won in 89. And for some reason, this could be completely made up in my mind. I think they showed a clip of Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas possibly kissing at half court in a B-roll section of The Last Dance when they had their reign. So we went Pistons and Lakers.
Okay, yeah, we also were thinking about the Pistons, and then as a West team, the Lakers, and so we also said the Piston, Lakers, and Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson being the two.
Yeah, we were looking for you said the captains' names also. So I'll give credit to both teams. It was Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas. They were really good friends before the finals, and like their first game in the finals was like really rough. It was like a lot of fouls, like a lot of really hard fouls. So they did it at the beginning of each game to let everybody know that this is a game, but they're still really good friends. I thought that was really cool.
This hasn't happened for a very long time, but I believe we are tied after the 5 final round questions at 130 to 130.
I have a tiebreaker question if you'd like.
Let's do it.
Yeah. We have to end this.
Yeah, we have to end this.
Let's end it, Jeff.
And whatever happens, everyone gets a kiss on the cheek. Whatever happens.
So we're going to do Price is Right rules. The closest without going over. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Real simple question. How many strings on a concert harp?
I think it's a lot. Because like I know the way the piano's set up is like they have like strings running over other strings. So I'm seeing like the big ones and maybe not the small ones. I'm thinking it's like maybe like 35. Is that crazy?
I don't think that's crazy. I guess the question is, do we want to go with 35 or do we want to play it a little bit safe and go a little bit lower just to make sure that we don't go over?
So I think it's actually a lot, and I think 35 might be safe.
Okay. If you think 35 is safe, I'm willing to go with you on this one.
Okay, sounds good. We'll submit 35.
All right, and we were considering how many octaves that we thought the harp covered, assuming 12 notes per octave. We're gonna say 50.
All right. That was very interesting. This was a really tight game. Came down to this tiebreaker question. How many strings are on a concert harp? And the answer is 47.
No way.
Man, we're so close.
California Dreamin' takes the win by being under.
That's painful.
That is painful.
Oh, wow.
Do we still get to roll the wheel?
Just for that, I'm putting in you were in a position we'd rather not be in.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
All right, you guys are the cream of the crop. Good job.
Unjustifiably.
Great game. Great game.
Thanks, Stacey. Excellent teammate.
Good job, guys. That was really fun.
Well, thank you for joining us, Stacey. Any last words or shout-outs you'd like to give out?
I guess I'll just, do a traditional plug. I'm in California, I think right now, with the whole situation and staying at home orders is just kind of keep on wearing your mask. I know it's a little bit of a pain, but anything we can do to help our neighbors is great. And I'll give a shout out also to my nephew Owen, who is a kind of an up and coming trivia nerd. So we'll see if he eventually will kind of be able to come onto these shows as well.
Awesome. Well, hopefully Owen comes on to the dark side pretty soon here. Brian, excellent game. So much fun. Any last words from you? And thank you again for writing this game.
Oh, you're welcome. It was my pleasure. I was glad to be a part of this. Any trivia is always fun to be a part of. I want to kind of piggyback what Stacey said. Definitely just kind of flatten the curve. People out there, please just wear your mask, just out of the courtesy, because you never know what somebody else may have. And it's just a good courtesy thing to do. Connecticut's one of these states where we have flattened the curve a lot. And now they're putting in something where people come from out of state and they're going to get screened and all this. But the more we do it now, the less we have to do later. And hopefully this will all be gone by the fall. But yeah, and my kids, to Kaden and Jackson, I'm going to make you listen to this probably like 3 or 4 times until you're tired of listening to it. So shout out to my kids too. I love you guys.
Well, your dad is awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, both of you, and for being Patreon supporters. We did just receive word that Matt did not make bail, but he has a lot of hot dogs to keep him healthy and hungry, and not hungry. But thank you again for joining us today, Stacey and Brian. And on behalf of Ken, Jeff, Matt, my name is Neal, and that was Triviality.
I don't know if anyone's ever tried to steal it. I was also going crazy and like thinking like Statue of Liberty, but I think that would not be something that you could actually steal. But
I think that's Neal's
I think you're thinking of National Treasure.
National Treasure.
I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.